Guys, Dabu 7, the latest Flight 370 updates. And if you haven't seen the other video I put out right before this one, you need to check it out as well. It exposes that this whole thing was set up to pull China and its military, its Navy especially, out of their harbors and stretch them as thin as possible, and also to get China to cough up all of their radar and military satellite images. The only ones giving up anything thus far has been China. If you backtrack and do the research, the United States has not give a single radar image whatsoever. They have recently went to the United States and asked for them to give up their information from their base in Pine Gap, which is in Australia. The United States refused. They said, we didn't pick nothing up, bottom line, end of story, nothing else to be said. So to me, if people really cared out there, they would be just handing, yeah, we've got some satellite information, you can see nothing happened. What's the problem with handing out an image that shows nothing? Problem is, if they open that door, then the truth is behind it somewhere. And they're hiding it. It is obvious. And it's, in my opinion, that it's not at Diego Garcia. It's not at the places that caught all this immediate attention. They knew that Diego Garcia would be targeted because it's the base sitting out there. That's why I did that backup video on the Maldives. Although it may not have even landed at the Maldives, it could have went north like the original stories had suggested. You have to remember, they had Boeing data that followed this thing north, and they retracted it because by law they couldn't do anything. Well, guess what, guys? Now the 45-day rule has came into effect, and it's now been missing 46 days. And this is an important milestone because it allows U.S. lawyers to pursue Boeing in the courts. Now, this was enforced by the National Transportation Safety Board, and it means that the families can now file suits in U.S. courts against Boeing. Now they can go after them. Now they can get this ball rolling and light the fire on their tail and say, hey, cough up this information. Now they're saying that this thing has not landed in the ocean, that it's landed on the ground because it's nowhere to be found. It's obvious. Now they're going to spend a couple more days out here in the ocean, and then it's done, guys, from here on out. Then everybody's going to have to turn their heads and say, all right, what the hell is going on now? You mean we just spent all this time and money out here in the ocean, and now you're telling us that this thing has landed? All of these governments have had this information the whole time. This shows you that this is a goose chase. And I'm telling you what, if I'm China right about now, I know they're not stupid. I'd be looking at Malaysia like you're playing me like a fool, and I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped a bomb on them and nuked them. Because what they've done is played along with the United States here and others through Malaysia here in pulling this whole thing off. And without the Malaysian government's help in pulling off this ploy to the people and to the world, it's not possible. So they are in this 100%. And I'm telling you, it's enough to cause war here because, as I showed in the last video, it has exposed China 100%, and it would not have been possible without this flight. And as long as they never find the flight and they keep these ships out here searching, running them on a goose chase, who knows what's going to happen? Now, at this point, who knows? The United States could step in now that they're finally going to give up and say, oh no, here's our images finally. There's something over here, and send them all out that way. You see, and eventually, and I think it's about time, China is going to know what's going on here. They're being played a fool. And it has shown that they are weak. They are 75 years behind the United States with no bases in the region. The United States has Guam, South Korea, built up in Japan, Diego Garcia, all these other bases in Australia. a huge influence in the region. And China can barely make it out of the South China Sea without controversy. Spratly Islands is what I would watch in that region. China's going to have to make a move, or they're not going to be able to make it out of the South China Sea in the future. So this has been an update on the latest, and I hope you can see one thing is clear by now, guys. They may never come out and say anything about where this thing is or whatnot, but I tell you this much. It should be very clear to you all at this point who is behind this. The same ones that brought down the towers are involved in the same operation. I'm telling you. Look at all the countries that are building up. And look at all the people here turned against China. People worrying about waking the bear in Russia. You might want to worry about waking the dragon in China. Because to me, the gig's up here, guys. They're busted. You could say, hey, how? How do you got proof? How do you got proof? It's common sense. If you want to be one of them idiots that just keep on getting strung along by the mainstream media, go for it. I'm not. I'm convinced they've done this. And I can't tell you if this thing's going to resurface ever or not. I tell you, if it does resurface, it's doom. It's bad news. I hate to say that, and I don't want to sound, doomish, but that's the truth. That plane resurfaces anywhere. It's bad news. We know this. But as far as I'm concerned, the United States is getting a lot more out of it just being gone, because they're able to track the move of China and other countries, and they're coughing up all their satellite data and imagery, showing what they have, their high-tech skills. They're fully exposed. None of it would have been possible without the disappearance of this plane. I'll leave a link in the description box, guys. As I get any more lighter information on this subject, I'll let you guys know. It's been Dabu7. Peace.